we have officially started the next season of the NBA season, which is wild to think about because there's just a lot going on. October is a great time for sports. I'll just put that out there. But also with that, the official Drive and Dish NBA team is back together. Kevin and myself finally back together. Kevin back from, where'd you go, Croatia or something?
No, Italy.
That's
Italy
like
for
the same spot.
It was close. I'm just surprised you went with the less known country first. I was like, I do genuinely want to go to Croatia. I feel like I'll
Are
make
they
that
like
trip
right next to each other pretty much?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
yeah.
So like Slovenia is in between, but if you you could go from boat from coast to coast, and it's not really that far away in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, we appreciate you guys for really holding it down this summer. This is without a doubt like peeling back the behind the scenes. Like it's just been a wild summer for both of us. Like me with doing bar exam prep, and now with the time off, going to Italy for 2.5 weeks. Which again, I just an insane sentence. I'm very grateful for that.
Have you gotten results? Are you a lawyer?
No, I have. That's what's crazy still is I have no idea. Like I have no idea whether it's still some states are starting to come out. We're like cautiously optimistic for a week. I mean, and by cautiously optimistic, I'm like, internally raging on the inside right now, just like all anxious about this, like full disclosure, if we're really peeling back the layers. But no, we'll see. And I mean, like, yeah, obviously, it's summertime. Justin's been going on vacations and, raising a child and working a job that has him doing all 9 zillion things. So, yeah, there's just like, we appreciate y'all bearing with us. I think now that we're back kind of like in real life, like I'm working a regular job again and, you're continuing to do your thing, like expect us to be more on track here now that the season is actually getting underway and we're in October.
We've legit like basketball to talk about, if that makes sense. I know the rest has been more like rumors and just happenings with teams and apparently
it's more just because we've crushed the summertime content too in the past. Yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie, I feel like summertime is where we have weirdly shined at points because we've just had. I feel like we've done a good job at filling up the summer. Like, and don't get me wrong, like I don't. We were just off for a little. It was just a little inconsistent this summer. I just don't want anybody thinking that there's like weird things going on behind the scenes. We've just been very busy. Like, trust me, I wish we were dropping weekly this summer. It's just the timelines don't match up sometimes. They match up a little better now. We're here. Obviously, we're gonna, the guest host will continue to come. Shout out to our guy Chase Bunker last week. I did appreciate I thought the intro was hilarious with you jumping on about the laugh. That made me laugh. Your self-depreciating intro, but no, it was fun. Listen, Justin texted me about that episode and was just like, get ready to get mad. And I was so the opposite of mad the whole time. Like, I genuinely loved it. I thought the heave discussion was great. I now know that Kobe Bryant led the league in heaves at the end of quarters. Like, that is, it was genuinely a good listen. I enjoyed it.
I was just more or less surprised that Chase and I talked about the heave thing for as long as we did. I thought it was going to be like a passing comment. If that makes sense. Because
it kept going, but it worked. Like it
well,
sounded...
it was just a lot. I mean, there is a lot of weird, like sort of kind of potential fallout with it, and so it's like, what's the point? Is there a point? I don't know. Here we are. Like it's like Croatia and Italy. It's the same thing. I don't know.
Croatia used to be a part of an entirely different region. It's in the Balkan region.
I know. It's like I joke.
You know that's one of my theories, or not theories, or maybe I guess hot takes instead of theories. I say all the time that if Yugoslavia was still a country, they would genuinely challenge the United States for the gold medal every single year. Like their lineup is nice.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and I haven't been out that way. The furthest I've gone is, I guess, technically Paris. Like I've done London, I've done Paris, but I haven't gotten further than Paris out there. Obviously the Florida of that side, Italy, I definitely want to go to. It just because it comes out, it's like a peninsula type thing.
I don't know if that's a compliment or that's so disrespectful.
It's more or less, it just looks like Florida. You know what I mean? Like it's its own little like.
That's a good way to clean it up, bud. That's a good job there. Yeah, everybody in Italy is about to just review bomb the heck out of us. But no, I mean it's definitely great. From a travel standpoint, I highly recommend it. Like I mean, we did Tuscany, we did Florence, we did Rome, we did Sorrento, like which are all and that was part of what was great is they're all rapidly radically different depending on what you want. Like Sorrento's
Mm-hmm.
your classic, like lay on the Tyrrhenian Sea and the Mediterranean and just vibe out at the
See, that's
beach.
probably
Like,
more me. Yeah, that's probably more what
well,
I'd be
yeah,
about.
that's you.
Yeah.
You're a Florida guy. You're a beach
Yeah.
guy. Like you've
Yeah.
always, I feel like you might as well just like buy a condo in St. Augustine Beach. You're there
Oh,
so much.
technically, technically we have one. I'm not trying to be like, I got a condo out on the beach, but we do have one that we use pretty much like every other week. So it is pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, you could. That's the thing with living in Jacksonville. Like, you could live in St. Augustine Beach, and like
Mm-hmm.
it is annoyingly far at that point, but
Yeah.
it's not an unbearable commute. We're talking about if
Well,
there's no traffic, it's like a 40-minute commute.
no, but it's nice to have a place where you could just like go down there after work on a Friday and you're just there. Like you don't have to
Yeah,
come
for
back
sure.
every night or whatnot. And parking is always a situation down here. So like having a place that is like a legit parking spot that could still get you close to everything. And in our case, a pool, a beach, restaurants, all that stuff is just right there. So it's like,
Well,
yeah, let's just be good.
and that's why I've said, like, whenever I've defended Jacksonville in the past, because I feel like you and I have talked about this, like, and obviously you've lived in the Jacksonville area now for like way longer than me. I mean, shoot, I was there for 3.5 years. You're going on like year what, 14, 15 at this point almost.
Yeah, guess what? 2009 is when I moved down here, but I was in St. Augustine until probably 14, maybe 15. So yeah, we
So
gotta be close to 10
greater
years.
metro
Yeah.
area for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
people always like, people dump on Jacksonville. I feel like Jacksonville's national rep is not great. And there are certain things where they're 100% right, cough, cough downtown. But like, you are never going to
Oh,
like tell me that Jacksonville is one of these like worst places in America. Like, I'll see people say that on Reddit and I'm just like, it has a beach. Like, you're not going to
yeah.
sit here and lie to me and tell me that Jacksonville is not great just off the beach and off the weather.
I will say, man, downtown, they're working on it. Like they are working on it. It is
I know
crazy
that
busy
it's
down
firmly,
there.
it's firmly in the. I gotta believe it when I see it because
I
I've been
agree.
hearing that for the. You talk
Dude,
about how
I'm
long
telling
you
you
lived
right
down
now.
there. I've been hearing it for that long.
I'm telling you right now, the amount of restaurants, the amount of bars and clubs that are like kind of starting to open up down there. I believe they have the same theory as I do. Is like if you can get in there now and like sort of get a reputation now, by the time give it 4 years from now, 5 years from now, you'll be in. Like you are in. You are. If you could open up a breakfast spot down there in the area where the new stadium's going to be and all that, you open up a breakfast spot right now and you can get through the next 5 years of it being like maybe good, you'll be set because you'll be like the local breakfast spot that's been there before it started. You know what I mean? Like that's like a dream. That would be it. Like open something down there now, be able to get through. And then once Shad Khan gets this whole thing changed up and looking the way he wants it to, like, dude, that's going to be the move because it's so barren right now that just having something automatically puts you in like the intriguing level. So I think it's going to be good. But to that, the big hype down here was the fact that the Jags added like 66 of the new stairs that will be a part of the new stadium. So people were like running up and down them and taking pictures. So like we're excited about stairs over here right now.
Hey, listen, man. You need something to do, and if the stairs are what gets people down there, hey,
dude,
I'm not going to complain about it.
I'm telling you, like the Jags mascot was out there taking pictures with people on these stairs. Like that's where we're at with the downtown trying to get excitement. So.
Which I feel like is quietly saying everything. There are always, shout out to Chamberlain's Book Mine. That is genuinely an unbelievable place downtown. Like one of the coolest used bookstores I've ever been. I could get lost in those stacks for 2 hours and not like, man, just great place. Glad that's kid going. I don't know if you've been here either. This isn't technically downtown, but before I left, there was a breakfast restaurant. There was a brunch restaurant that I went to called The District, and it's in Springfield, kind of. And it's
Springfield, okay.
Very random area for sure. You're definitely but it was good. It was, I forget what I got to eat, but it was definitely very good.
Springfield started to do this thing called Porch Fest, where those houses that are all like really old and historic, essentially.
Yeah.
They do a thing. It's called Porch Fest. It'll be in November. It's actually the beginning of November, so like a month from now. And what they do is they bring out like 50 local bands.
Right.
And through the street of Springfield, like they pick a path, they just slowly pick the houses. These are just owned by, like, could be owned by you and me, essentially. They just come to you and be like, hey, on this day, we're shutting down the street, and this band is going to play on your historic porch. And they do like 2-hour increments, and they just play all the way. They just keep going down the street, essentially, until they get to that main park where they do a big, grand, like, bigger artist type situation, almost festival level performance. And it is so much fun. It got like 33,000 people out there last year. And great, but as you know, the parking situation's pretty rough. So that was a dumpster fire, but it is an awesome time. People just drinking on the streets. You get to see these old houses. You learn about the history of Springfield a little bit, and all the money that they raise off of it goes back into preserving and helping like replenish that area. Because as you know, until not that long ago, Springfield was not a place you wanted to be, really.
No, it's important. I mean, that's the other reality. Is It's like you have the areas along the coast, like, you know, you think about Riverside and Avondale that have always been more affluent, but like the downtown core hasn't always been the most wealthy area. Now, I think that's, again, is starting to change, and I think in Springfield you're starting to see that a little bit as well. But yeah, I want to see, like, whenever money goes into that area and you start to rebuild it, like, that's always my thing too, is it's like, dude, keep the character of the neighborhood, like, especially there when you talk about the city, like, that's the oldest part of the city. Like, there aren't many things in Florida that are old. I say that though, as St. Augustine's like the oldest place in America. But like, as a large part, I mean, you go look at a map of Florida in like 1900 and you just laugh. There's nothing there. Where Jacksonville like kind of is the exception to that because they were north enough. So yeah, you got to keep that stuff afloat. Like, you got to keep the culture there. That's one thing that St. Augustine has done really well, is they have their identity and they've leaned into it.
And I think they will. And I think a lot of the sporting teams of the area kind of gotten into it, obviously with the Jumbo Shrimp turning themselves into the Honey Drippers for a little bit there. Like, that's an homage to history and stuff like that. But you kind of talked about St. Augustine, the oldest, and obviously it's the start of October, which is spooky season and all that stuff. So we figured it'd be really fitting to talk about things that are essentially spooky for NBA teams, and that's injuries. So obviously we will talk a lot of injuries. And of course, with that comes some 76ers talk, because they are always surrounded by injuries. So we'll get into that. But essentially for warm up, the injury we wanted to talk about is a team that we legitimately think still might, but this probably changes some things, be in the running next year, is the Rockets. Fred VanVleet goes down with a torn ACL in his right leg. It was during an offseason workout in the Bahamas. Obviously, that pretty much leads to probably missing the entire season. He's expected to undergo surgery. They did just resign him for 2 years, $50 million. Like, it sucks. What do you think this does for the Rockets going forward? Do you still think they're in the running? Obviously, Kevin Durant being there changes the potential fallout of this a little bit, as you at least have one of the best NBA players in the league to fall back on. But VanVleet was going to be a big part of this run if they were going to make it run.
Yeah, the problem now is they're just lacking a point guard largely. And with their situation, I mean, they're hard capped. Like, there's no one else out there that they can really go and get. So I think that you got to look internally. And I mean, the immediate thoughts are that, hey, you put Amen Thompson in that role. Maybe Reed Shepherd steps up and gives you minutes. And like, that would be an ideal situation. Like, obviously Shepherd, the number 3 pick in the draft last year, like Amen Thompson, somebody who is a huge breakout candidate, like one of the more exciting young players in the league. Like, he's going to be a big part of any success they're going to have anyway. But yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to jump off the Houston cliff because of this. Like, I still think they're a very formidable basketball team who are going to be one of the better teams in the West. But when you just kind of look at the, that top of the conference arms race that's been going on with how OKC has been able to just, stay there and run back most of their championship roster. Like, we talk about the moves that Denver's made this offseason. Like, this was always going to be a tough road to the finals no matter what. And yeah, when you lose someone like VanVleet, who has championship experience as well, like, I mean, they brought him in to kind of be the vet on that team originally, pre-KD trade. And, maybe they'll have to shake things up at the season if they can't figure out their point guard situation. Like, who knows what'll happen there. They still have plenty of young players that are intriguing. Like, I think they have the ability to tinker, but this looked like one of the deeper rosters in the NBA. And who knows, like maybe there's a chance because of when the injury happened, with it being a couple weeks ago now and in the offseason before we really get going, like maybe there's an outside chance that if you go far enough that you get him back for like the conference finals or the finals themselves. But like even then, it's like, so you're going to ease him back into gameplay in the NBA finals? Like it's not impossible, but like that's easier said than done.
With zero, at least in this season, playing experience with Kevin Durant and Sengun. So like it would be a very like, dude, you could totally destroy the chemistry that was built throughout this whole season if you just try to throw them back in, and that could end up resulting in them not winning at all in that scenario. But I agree with you. I think you go with the younger guys, almost like a backcourt by committee sort of approach. I know that's a big NFL thing, running back by committee type of situation, but maybe that's what you run here. And then obviously KD and Sengun can like kind of take some of the playmaking responsibilities as well. So maybe you start looking into some smaller ball lineup type situations and seeing what you can do with that. Obviously, it was worth mentioning that the models are predicting several wins off for the Houston Rockets now with VanVleet going down. They still have them under like contender label, and I agree. I think once you have Kevin Durant, that that's what it is. But it does take a little bit of a hit with was going to be one of your main veteran guys, and in this case, point guards, running that offense.
Hoops Hype had a proposed trade, like not to look too far ahead,
but
they had a proposed trade with the Bulls where they go and get Kobe White from Chicago.
Kobe White, man.
That's such a great get for them. And Kobe White's he's one of those guys who probably gets super slept on because he's been playing largely meaningless basketball in Chicago the past few years.
He's a player that I'm always like, he's a player that any team we ever talk about, I'm like, they should go get this guy.
Well, he reminds me, he's in that category of players like the way that Derek White was when he was in San Antonio, where it's like, if you're watching, this guy's really good. He's just nobody's paying attention because he's kind of playing for teams that are just like not really doing too much. It's like, man, if you put him into a bigger role on a team that's going for something, I feel like he's going to really show out.
I agree with you on that. I just wonder, if he is one of the Bulls, bright spots. So it's like, would they and be even interested in entertaining that? I don't know. So yeah, that would be another whole level of part of that, conversation. So
who knows what they're doing? And that's really what the theme of the Bulls has been for the past, almost decade post Derrick Rose at this point. It's like, what are they doing at this point? Either way, we shall see. That is kind of an intriguing one right away. But yeah, no doubt about it. A huge loss for the Rockets with VanVleet. It's just unfortunate with his age too. Like, these injuries start to, as guys hit their 30s, you start to look at them a little more, and you just also hope that it doesn't affect the longer portion of their career. Hopefully we always want to see our guys age gracefully as they finish their way out of the league here. But I'm kind of with you though overall. Houston was, I think, 2 to me. I think in my mind, like you got to give OKC that respect. Like I'm just not about to knock the champions off. Like not when they get everybody back too, for the most part. And I know they're going to have some moves to make of their own, but they might slide a little bit. Like the West is unforgiving. There's just no way around it. And the Rockets, at the minimum, are going to have to survive 2 months. Like they can't make any meaningful trades until December 15th anyway. And so, it's going to have to be internal. But hey, if somebody steps up, like I said, Reed Shepherd developing here would be the best case scenario for this team. Like that would give them almost an embarrassment of riches at that point. But
you would have a lot to work with at that point, which is good. So
and still, pretty intriguing no matter what. I'm not gonna, like I said, completely lose faith in this team just yet. Hopefully we're still pretty intriguing here on the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Welcome everybody. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Cousart.
In Game 5 of the 2019 first round series between Oklahoma City Thunder and the Trailblazers, Russell Westbrook missed more shots, 20, than the rest of his team combined, who only missed 19. He went 11 for 31, and the rest of the Thunder went 36 for 55.
Yeah, was that I'm trying to remember if that was
I they won that game.
I feel like Paul George was on the team that year. Was that his last year with OKC before he went to the Clippers? Because I think it was the last of his years with the Clippers, or before he went to the Clippers, I should say.
The roster was, and I can tell you, Steven Adams, Dort, Gallinari, wait. Yeah, SGA. No. This is pulling the wrong year. Because this doesn't even have Westbrook in here. This is pulling the year after. This has Chris Paul. This is pulling the year after. Hold on. 2019, probably 2018, 2019.
Yeah, 2018, 2019.
That's what
if that's the playoffs.
Yeah, it's looking at the wrong thing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Westbrook's on this team. So it's Westbrook. And Nerlens Noel's on the team. Dennis Schroeder.
Classic.
Dude's
Immaculate
always on
Grid
these
darlings.
teams. Denala, Raymond Felton's still on the team. Steven Adams, Markieff Morris. I don't see. Oh yeah, Paul George. There he is.
Okay,
Jeremy
so
Grant.
the end of that weirdly makes sense. The end of that last Paul George season was a mess, and I mean, obviously, like that was Dame waving him goodbye as well. So that's kind of an icon. I think OKC probably wants to forget about that series. And it's funny too because I remember the post like. When KD left, obviously it was the Russ is gonna have to be Human Torch here every night, but like that window almost felt extended then when they went out and got Paul George. Like I remember really being intrigued about that and being like, man, they got Paul George to go to OKC. Like that's such a good get for them.
That was like right after the injury, right? Like that was pretty close to Paul George's injury, right?
Yeah,
did he do one more year with the Pacers?
Years at that point, he had one more health, or at least one or two more healthy years with the Pacers, and then he went down to OKC. But like, I mean that's a combo, which I mean I guess unfortunately has been the theme here for the past few years for Paul George. But it's just like, man, that's a combo I really thought was going to work better. But you're right. I mean, and it felt and shoot, give OKC a lot of credit for realizing after that series. Like, I mean, you want to talk about a foundational change. Like, look at you could probably directly trace the title that they won last year back to that series where it's like, hey, this isn't working. We really got to shake it up and start to have those discussions where, obviously we know the rest is history at this point. Paul George goes to the Clippers. SGA comes in. You get all those boatload of picks that have worked out and still continue to give them a lot of flexibility. So, yeah, I mean, hey, and it's the benefit of taking big swings sometimes. You got to give OKC a lot of credit. But, yeah, I mean, that is kind of a good one to bring up because you're right. Like, there's a lot that can be traced back to that series and that not working because Paul George, right, in my opinion, in OKC, like, I still am surprised that I just thought they would have contended a little more. I don't think anybody was beating those Warriors teams. Don't get me wrong. But, like, I did think that was a pairing that was going to work pretty well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I remember being excited about it as well.
They had a list when Paul George signed. It was like there's always some random things like they were at a club that night, and it was Russ, and it was PG, and it was Nas, and it was just like, all right, here we are. Nas just gave him a random concert in honor. Russ is going crazy, like super excited because obviously, post KD getting somebody to come into OKC, like that was not
that was it.
Slouch
that
move
was
either
the replacement.
at the time.
Yeah, that was the KD replacement at the time.
Yeah, so what a world. And like I said, OKC fans, plenty to be happy about right now. We're not going to talk a ton about them on this episode. We do have, after the break, we got some Warriors and some Sixers to talk about, some re-signings, a pair of restricted free agents. Warriors brought Al Horford in as well. The Sixers are already dealing with injury problems, so we can get a little nihilistic with it as well. So if you enjoy watching us go through pain, you can stay tuned for that as well. In the meantime, leave us a review on the podcast. We will read them on iTunes. If you are not an Apple listener, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you get your podcasts, you can find us.
And we are on YouTube. Just search Drive and Dish NBA on YouTube. You can follow along the video version, just like you do on the podcast. Subscribe, and you'll get notifications when new episodes are coming out.
Now, a word from our sponsors.
So I was going to look up the most popular songs that talk about pain or allude to pain in the title.
How much time do you have, boy?
Well,
there's so many.
I know. Hold on, with pain in the title.
I want to say. Well, I mean, you got House of Pain itself. If you want to talk about Jump Around, they literally have pain in the artist.
The first song that came to me was 3 Day Grace song called Pain. Literally just called Pain. Like that's a song.
Okay.
The top ones, here we go. This is just Google AI kind of just pulling some lists for us. King of Pain by The Police. Pain by 3 Days Grace. Otis Redding has a song called Pain in My Heart. We've got Marilyn Manson, Speed of Pain, Rob Bass, Joy and Pain. So for whatever you need, just pretend any of this is playing in the background for the next, 10 to 15 minutes. Because let's talk about injuries. McCain goes down. Jared McCain goes down in another offseason workout. This time it's an injury to the right thumb.
Right. Can I miss when? First off, I was just thinking the worst thing we'd have to talk about with Jared McCain would be how the Sixers did him dirty in the jersey release. So the best thing the Sixers did, and maybe they were giving us the warm up for this, was releasing the black AI jerseys that are finally out, and they're going to wear them this season. So that's great news. Everybody's been clamoring for that for a while, and because then they decided to just let all happen. But they had our guy Jared McCain there, and he was on the bench press.
Yeah,
dude, they put 2.5 pound plates on it. Like, my man, you can't even put 25s on it for him, so it looks like a little bit great. And like, don't get me wrong, I don't think Jared McCain is benching like 50 pounds or whatever that is, but like, and honestly, in basketball, does it really matter? I mean, people used to make fun of Kevin Durant's bench press all the time. My man's one of the greatest scorers in NBA history, but like,
but also remember, he did
y'all can't Photoshop a 45 on there.
Well, remember, KD did the whole, was able to bench 180 out of college, and then by, the next year he was benching 300. Remember that insane strength, whatever he did? So, I agree with you. They did him dirty on that, and I was kind of like, how did that get past the whole graphics team? Nobody was like, hey, hold on, this looks a little wonky. But yeah, so he's hurt, he's out. Gonna miss the start of the season at least. They say a normal recovery time for a tear like this is 4 to 6 weeks. So it's kind of unclear, which you then pair that with obviously the meniscus tear he had in his knee during his rookie season. It's the second significant injury to his career. He's pretty young, so I'm not saying start raising the flags, but definitely something to keep in mind. He should be back though, and I think the Sixers still expect a lot from him coming into this season when he does get there, obviously being reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. Now, on top of that, we're already off to a rough start with Joel Embiid. It looked like he was good to go, but then next thing you know, his status kind of remains unknown, which will just kind of be a cloud that hangs over the Sixers' head. You pair that with Paul George already being out, and now McCain being out. It's like rinse and repeat from last year. The only positive thing that's come out of any of this is Quentin Grimes resigned.
No, and it's crazy because even that, I'll talk about that in a second, but it's you could. I'm not saying you could talk yourself into positive vibes around the Sixers, but it felt like the temperature was better because it's like, hey, you're getting McCain back. You're genuinely excited about BJ Edgecombe, who looks to be a pretty good prospect, and I think will be a good player for the Sixers. Tyrese Maxey seems like he's in a good headspace. He's talked about taking on more of a leadership role. But you're right. The Embiid thing is just it's a constant cloud that hangs over this team because you don't know his status. You're right. Paul George as well, already out here being he said it can't get much worse than last year. Paul, buddy. You have not watched the Sixers long enough to know it could always get worse than last year. But right, he's talking about how he's going to take a longer ramp up than usual. Again, these contracts are still pretty untradeable at this point. So it's any remote bit of positivity you had, you're right, it's already been crushed. But the McCain one feels cruel because it's hey, this is one of the him, Maxey, and Edgecombe, at least it's they feel pretty Sixers proof right now. At least you would get to enjoy their development, and realistically, these are long-term pieces, hopefully, for this team. And now you just have this UCL tear where he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. It happens in a random offseason workout. Of course it does. The joke now on Sixers Twitter is that, maybe McCain just sacrificed himself again to protect Edgecombe from his, classic season-ending injury that's always around the corner for whatever Sixers rookie. So, no, it's constant annoyance. It's constant just pain, essentially. The window's closed on this team for me. That's kind of the thing is it's hard for me to be really let down about the opportunity to go compete for a championship because they haven't shown to me they're remotely serious about that in the past few years, especially after last year. I just don't know how you could watch how Embiid looked when he played and how limited and ineffective Paul George was even when he played, and go, yeah, that team's ready to compete for a championship. Like your only argument that you might have is that the Eastern Conference largely is pretty weak this year. But even then, like if even if somehow they miraculously came out of the Eastern Conference, there's no planet they're beating whoever's in the Western Conference. Like that feels like it's going to be a better team. So you're just in this weird, like murky in between that you can't really move on from yet. And so you're just it's just like, can we at least be healthy for it? If we're gonna stink, we're gonna stink. But like, can I at least stop? Like, I'm just so tired of talking about injuries with this team.
Well, and I guess that's my point. If we're not injured, I feel like we are a decent team. And I will double down on what I said last time, is if we are last episode, and this is why I thought you were gonna get mad at me. If the Sixers are healthy, fully healthy, they will have a better record than the Orlando Magic. But that is if they are healthy, and I really don't think they will be, considering we're already going into the season very much not healthy. You have a really good, deep on paper guard rotation, but again, injuries are really changing some of that. And what I feel like happened last time with Maxey was we were so dependent on him early in the season. That's why he ended up getting injured last year. And so, like, we might rinse and repeat that again. I do wonder if I don't think we're there, but like, I do think some Nick Nurse questions start to come up potentially if we have another real bad season. But everybody on the internet, blog wise, are saying like the Sixers are a bounce back team. And I'm like, let's hold on calling them that, because it is fully contingent on their health. Their projected win total should be significantly different if they are not healthy. I mean, we saw it last year with Embiid going down. If Embiid's healthy and playing peak level, yeah, with how not great the East is, we should be right there in there and should have a better record than the Pistons and the Orlando Magic, because we have the experience on the team. But I really don't think we're going to be there. I think this season's going to be more of a let the young players learn and get accommodated with each other, essentially, and prove and reduce your dependence on Joel Embiid, because if it don't work this year, like, yeah, we probably got to move on.
Well, I mean, if you can, like, that's the problem with the new contract is like, yeah, move on. I think is easier said than done at this point, especially if he goes through another injured season. I mean, but even like they don't win around the margins either. And that's the little thing. And honestly, like, that's what this Quentin Grimes signing comes down to for me. So we talked about the end of last season. Quentin Grimes was one of the few bright spots. Like, he truly was phenomenal after he came over from Dallas. It was a really good move for them. The restricted free agency was odd this year. We talked about that. And it just feels like, I mean, it just feels bad for everybody, because I'm hearing two separate things. Like, Quentin Grimes comes out here and he just only gets this 8.75 or 8.7 million qualifying offer. He's going to play one more year here, and then he's going to be a restricted or he's going to be a full free agent. And I mean, but this is for a guy who was trying to get a longer term deal for 20 to 30 million a season. Like, that was what his agent was trying to get. And, more than anything too, I think with stability, like, Quentin Grimes has been on 5 teams in 5 years. And I don't think that's because he's a bad player. Like, quite the opposite. I thought Quentin Grimes showed he deserved a contract after the way he played last year. Like, he's still young. There's a lot of upside there. I'm, from an X's and O's perspective, I'm happy he's back on this roster. Why I'm frustrated is because they basically, like, they only ended up doing this 1-year deal. One of the big reasons that they said they couldn't bring Yabusele back, another major bright spot for them last year, like, probably, again, one of probably only 3 bright spots in the entire season, was that they couldn't afford to pay him. And that's why he went up to New York, where he's going to go and contend like that. If you're only paying Quentin Grimes $8.7 million, why are you telling me you can't afford Yabusele? You absolutely can afford Yabusele. And so it's just one of these things where it's like, you're not winning around the margins either. If you're serious about pushing this team in and contending, you need to win around those margins. And they just don't right now. And I'm okay with them going younger in certain regards. Like, I like Justin Edwards. I think Adam Bona showed enough after last year to be excited about him a little bit. But it's just like, that's the type of move that just, like, why did this saga play out like this? I know it was a weird market, but it's like, there's no one that came out of this Quentin Grimes thing a winner. It just feels frustrating.
And that's fair. I kind of agree with you on that. I think, to what you said though, with the Knicks move and going and contending, is I feel like that'll kind of, and we'll talk about it a little bit, is that'll kind of lead us into the Al Horford talk a little bit. I think that is a sign of the Celtics being realistic as to where they think they'll be, next year, or Al Horford saying where he thinks they'll be next year. But back to the Sixers. Let me know what you think about this. Best case scenario for Sixers. 50-win season, Embiid healthy, Paul George healthy, Maxey rises to like all-star guard level again, and rookies are an immediate impact, and we get a 50-plus win season, maybe top 3 in the East. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we're at the bottom, everyone's injured, and the log jam of all the guards creates a time issue where people can't necessarily get in rotations. That's worst case to me, is you're still dependent on Embiid. You weren't able to get any of the guard log jam minutes figured out to let the young guys go and still have Maxey out there and let that be potentially our future.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with probably both of those. Like, the worst case scenario for me record wise is that they're just kind of in the middle, like they're in that play-in position.
Yeah, I would prefer to be out of it if it's going to be bad, like let it be freaking real bad. You know what I mean?
There's just no benefit. They don't have their pick next year either.
Well,
so it's
fair.
like there's no, like, last year there was the benefit of being really bad where you can get the high pick because it still had the protection from OKC. Like they don't own that pick next year.
Yeah, so really nothing. So I mean, really, at least try to win.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, at least try to get the play-in position. Like, at least get some of the young guys there. Like, my best case scenario is that, like Jared McCain comes back and is healthy. The young guys all break out, and you just get any sort of it. Like, I have a hard time. Like,
I don't see it.
I have a hard time saying they're going to win 50 games compared to the other worst case scenarios. Like, I would love to be wrong on this, but I've just seen this movie before. Like, I'm not going to be the insane person who tries to, like, gaslight themselves into them suddenly pulling it together. Like, they can tell me, and they've been trying to do it a little bit. Like, they're like, oh, we got new trainers and we got all this other stuff. And like, they've really been trying to prove it. But I'm like, you do have to prove it. You have to prove it to everybody at this point. We just don't believe you.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how we start, right, with McCain and potentially Embiid and Paul George out. Like, if Maxey starts out strong, sharp, looks good, ready to lead, that at least gives us a hopeful start. But then, like, December, January range, like, we start getting into a situation. It's like, okay, what are we, you know what I mean? What are we looking at? Where are we with the rookies? What is the record going into Christmas or something? Like, are we at 500? Are we even at 500? And then obviously trade deadline will be an interesting time to see this team specifically, are we buyers at that point? Are we, hey, we think we are able to make a push at this point, and what do we do at that point? So,
well, it's even crazy too, because like, you may not even know, because I mean, I remember last year, like, as bad as the season started, they went out and beat the Celtics on Christmas, and you were like, yo, they never beat the Celtics, and especially not on national television. So it's like, all right, maybe you have my attention a little bit. And then immediately, like, within 2 weeks, it was over again. And I think that's when you knew, unfortunately, but that was when you
be very interesting for us to have done this entire tank situation to get close, but then to ultimately be stuck back in NBA purgatory at this, like, barely making the playoffs world.
I think about that all the time. Like, I think one of the reasons that when we started the show with Tim way back in the day, that I was so excited to do this, because again, like, I always say the seasons change officially when the regular season tips off. So like, we're about to be in season 13, which again is such an insane sentence. But when we started, like, the Sixers were beginning the process. Like, that was the first year they had blown everything up. Like, that half of the reason I was excited to do that show was because I would really believed in what was going to happen. Like, and even if you go as far as 2016, like, it looked so bright, and they just, through self-sabotage and other just, I mean, we don't need to rehash this for the zillionth time, but it's just, dude, it's
well, let's not.
it's completely
hold on. let's also not let the NBA off easy here. They did sabotage that on us as well. 100%. We got punished while other teams didn't as much.
No,
so,
100%. They absolutely they've sprung the colangelos. Like that, which was disgusting, and I will never forgive Adam Silver.
Yeah,
for that.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, we got Jerry, and he hires his Nepo son right away, like sick.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy with them because, like, and again, I haven't lost it for the league, obviously, but yeah, I mean, I have as a fan, my general, like, you and Chase are ranking the Philly sports teams in terms of like, it's just apathy right now about the fan base. Like, I just don't care. I don't care enough about this team.
It's also like the season's going to start during a very, very strong Red October for the Phillies. So it's just like nobody is going to care about the 76ers right now. Like, it is going to be Eagles. It is going to be Phillies. And it'll be Eagles, obviously on the weekend or Monday Night Football or Thursday, whenever they play. And then it's going to be very heavy on Phillies, at least during this run.
Yeah,
and then after it's all over, they're going to go, all right, the 76ers. And the only good that can come out of that is if the record's really good, because nobody's going to be paying attention to how we got to, 1-13 in certain cases. They're just going to see 1-13 and go, no, I'm not watching this season.
No, and I mean, it is really a double whammy. Like, it's been, the two worst Philly franchises have been the Sixers and the Flyers, really, in the past decades. In terms, and I mean, the Phillies were down for a while, but the last few years they've been really since signing Bryce Harper, they've been competitive. So people have been locked in on this team, and World Series run in that time. Unfortunately, they didn't get over the top, but it's like, I think the Sixers, like, when you rank the popularity of the four teams, like, they very much have the potential to be number two, like, over the Phillies. Like, I think more people would be interested in basketball. It's just the franchise hasn't been nearly good enough consistently to justify that interest. So I think they're firmly three. And I mean, shoot, if we really want to talk about the state of these franchises, like, the Flyers kind of finally tanked correctly and, like, are building a young core that people are excited about. It looks like they've got some young talent on this roster. Like, there's a very real chance that they're competing again sooner than later, where the Sixers are just doing the same old injury thing. Like, and it's always just awkward too, because it's the weird dance with Joel, where it's like, Joel is one of the best players in franchise history, but like, God, I don't have it in me to watch this guy be hurt again. Like, it's just so, it stinks for everybody. And like, I feel for him too. Like, I don't want to, and that's why it's always a weird balance of like, I don't want to be one of those Embiid bashers, but like, I think it's fair to say that, like, we may not win a championship with this guy. Like, it's kind of been true here for a few years now.
Yeah, we're for sure there, if not getting there already. I am curious to see where this Phillies team would land in like a list if again, and I don't want to jinx anything, but if they were to go the whole way, and there's a lot of baseball to be played, but like, I am very convinced this is one of the better rosters that we've had, and like where it would rank up in the history of the Phillies. But this isn't a baseball podcast, so we could
if they win, it's high. Like, we don't have to do it real quick, but if they win, it's high. It's gonna be, I mean, they've only won two. They won two in franchise history, so like,
but would it be better than the one that won in, what was that, 2008? Probably not, because of record.
In my opinion, no.
Because of record? Because weren't they the best?
08 had so many like franchise legends, though. That's the thing. But what's crazy about that roster is, like, we're objectively, God, we're gonna go down the hole. There are better Phillies teams from that like 08 to 11 run, but they just didn't win the World Series. Like, their best team was probably in either 2011 or in 2009. But the 08
was that the
team
Yankees year? Was that the year we got beat by the
Yankees? Yeah, they went to the World Series and lost the Yankees in 09. They went to back-to-back, and then they lost the Cardinals in the first round of 2011, and I don't ever want to speak about that game again. It's probably the maddest I've ever been about sports. They lost 1-0. I was not happy. I was 21, so I was extra not happy. We don't need you. I mean, you want to talk about like worst losses? I mean, the Sixers' worst loss for me is probably Kawhi, though, because well, you can't tell me, for as bad as it's been, that they wouldn't have won that year if they didn't get past that series, and that's what it comes down to.
Why doesn't hit that shot, I think, is very different, for sure.
There's so many legacies that are different. I mean, Embiid's got one. Ben Simmons wins a title in Philly. Jimmy Butler wins a title in Philly and definitely doesn't leave then, but Jimmy has the ring, period. So, and I mean, I guess that's a good segue into going to Jimmy's new team, the Warriors, who are making some moves as well. The restricted free agency market, like their saga with Jonathan Kuminga is finally coming to an end here. 2-year agreement. He just at the end of the day, I don't know why I lost the cap. Do you have the salary up right now? I just this article doesn't have the salary. I don't know. I just lost it.
For the Warriors, the cap.
Yeah,
no,
okay, 48.5 million. Excuse me. Here we go.
Okay.
48.5 million on the 2-year deal for Jonathan Kuminga. Which
Oh,
again, this has been like long saga, probably one of the more vocal ones of the offseason about how this free agency situation has played out. But he's back now. Post this says he's turned the page. I'm sure the Warriors are happy to have him back. Like Kuminga at the end of the day is still, because it feels like he's been in the league now for a bit, but he's just 22 years old still. And I think that's the biggest reason, especially on an older roster like the Warriors are, like he can come in, that athleticism you still can't teach. Like if he ever fully develops, like he's been solid enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, he had 15 points last year, almost 5 boards a game, but it spurts, and to me, honestly, in the playoffs, he was really good, and granted only in one series, but it felt like he was playing good ball in that series.
Well, and it in the deal includes a team option for the second year, which does still keep some flexibility for Golden State.
They basically punted it down the road for a year. They said, "Hey, you like this saga? Let's potentially do it all again next offseason."
Well, and think about it. Like there is, if this doesn't work for the Warriors, there is a legit, like, okay, what do we do going forward type situation. So I totally get that. Apparently Kuminga's agent pushed hard for more control, a player option, but obviously the Warriors held firm on that. Kuminga changed his jersey from 0-0 to 1. So I wonder if just every time he gets a new contract, he's just going to go up another number. Like we'll go to 2 next time, and then 3 and 4 and 5. And I'm interested to see, but I think it's very telling. Like this is a good push that they're going to, this is going to be a good push for the team. I think Horford and Draymond will complement each other really well on the court. I think Kuminga is obviously one they can rely on. You got Jimmy there. You got Steph and Seth, and we'll talk about Seth in a little bit too, actually, part of my Ballin and Fallin. Kuminga, one of their younger, high upside guys. And I'm just interested to see if this is enough to compete with, obviously the overarching OKC situation.
Do you know that GIF where there's 2 guys and they just keep going up to each other and it looks like they're about to fight, but instead they just flip each other off and it's just them chasing each other around and flipping each other off?
They'll be like far away on the islands and stuff. Yes.
So I feel like that's what Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors did to each other this entire offseason, and now they just are like back at it.
We love each other, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it was like, I mean, and look, Kuminga kind of has a right to be upset a little bit. Like his role has been jerked around a lot. Like it feels like they've been all in on his development, and they were doing this whole 2 timeline thing, of course, as we know. But then they just don't trust him to play minutes. But then because of out of injuries, they've almost been forced to reluctantly play him minutes. And so I can understand his frustration there. But it's also like then the restricted free agency market didn't really play out the way that we thought it would for a lot of these guys. And so it's like, well, Kuminga, it's probably like in your best interest to just go back to the Warriors and like whatever, you can at least play some meaningful basketball next year. Like it'll be interesting to see how they work through it. I mean, it's a good sign that they're both putting on the game face right now. Yep. It's just odd too, because I feel like the Warriors front office, like they've just been trying to trade him left and right, but every time they get close to trading him, they've just backed off for a second and been like, no, actually, we still think he's a part of the future. So it's just really weird why they've like been public, like they haven't made their intentions really known here too, which I think is kind of like got to the awkwardness of this. But I don't know. I mean, from a basketball perspective, I do think it's good to have him back because they're going all in right now. Like, and I mean, shoot, they clearly have one of the older rosters in the league right now. And I mean, bringing in Al Horford is not really going to like, I mean, yeah, you look at Al and you look at Jimmy and, Draymond and all these guys now, like they really are. They're very unique in the sense that they are an older roster. It's about being healthy. Like, I don't want to keep bringing it back to injuries, but like it does for this team. Like we saw last year, they were, given a great first round series and they looked, when Jimmy was there, it looked good. And then Jimmy got hurt and it just never looked the same. Like, you need to make sure you're ready for the playoffs. I still think they're a tier below the, top dogs of the league, like the teams we mentioned before, Houston, OKC, Denver, but they're right there, and there's certainly a
Yep.
path where they could get in there and mess around and compete in the Western Conference as well. Like I'm never gonna really like totally rule out a Steph Curry run team. Like we've
Yep.
seen them do this how many times at this
We know
point.
they can
So
do it. Yep. Yep.
it's an intriguing roster, like you said. I think Horford fit wise makes a lot of sense. Like he can
Well, and I
stretch the
just
floor, he can
wonder.
play that Draymond role even a little bit.
And I wonder what the rotations look like with Curry, Green, Butler, Horford, Kuminga. Like, there's definitely a lot of interesting ways you could try to throw that out there. So I wonder if that's essentially what they try to figure out at the beginning of the season is like, what can they do between these older guys, with some younger guys, but what can they do to keep the health, keep the energy, keep, be able to make a legitimate run at the end of the season? I'm curious to see what the Warriors can do with that.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Kerr already said that, he mentioned the fit with Horford and Draymond and the fit with him and Trace Jackson Davis. So,
Yep.
I mean, I think they're excited about that. You mentioned it a little bit earlier, and I mean, 100%. Like this is with Horford going to the Bay. Like this is totally. I mean, Boston's been doing that this whole season. When they traded Drew Holiday, when they let Porzingis walk, like Tatum just changed the entire chemistry about what they're about to do. Like they're fully in a. I mean, them and Indy are both totally in punt modes, unfortunately, because of the Tatum and Halliburton injuries, respectively. So.
Yep.
I mean, that's part of what's made this conference so wide open. Like, I don't think Boston's going to fall off a cliff, but like, no, the front office, it was already going to be an expensive, older roster to bring back. The reason you do that is because they've won a championship and you give them the benefit of the doubt. But the second Tatum got hurt, it's like the team they're not good enough to win a title without Tatum.
The Sixers and Knicks tip off is about to happen, and I just got the starters.
Oh yeah, they're in Abu Dhabi right now.
But dude, that the starters list, like that's such an insult to put that lineup out there, dude.
Well, it's preseason.
I know, but still, look at that lineup. The starter, it's like, dude, no Embiid, no Paul. It's just upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it's preseason. I'm not gonna. This is not where I'm going to be upset over all the things.
I'm upset. I'm upset because I want to see them play good basketball with their starters. They owe us that from last year. So even though it's the preseason, get us what it's going to look like. So either way,
yeah, I hope so.
That's my Fallin now. Is that lineup they just announced?
Yeah, right. I mean, hey, you pivot last minute. Who's balling? Who's falling? Our NBA version of the stock market, we always like start with the good for the bad. So, Justin, I will start with you. Who is balling this week?
Balling for me is going out to SGA, who was doing a media day the other day and was asked about winning the championship. And I don't know if you saw his response, but he said, and I quote, "It's a step in the right direction." Bro, what?
I mean, he's not wrong, I guess. Like, I mean, if we're talking about the franchise, like, yeah, them winning the title is certainly a step in the right direction.
I guess so. But yeah, so that honestly should be concerning for anybody that is not on OKC, seeing that they view a championship as a step in the right direction. They're trying to win 3 in a row, 4 in a row, 5 in a row. Like, oh my word. So
I mean, they're trying to be a dynasty. Like we've talked about, it's been a league of parity recently. Like OKC feels like they're in the best position that a team has been in a while to break that trend.
For sure.
So, a lot needs to go right. Sam Presti's going to have to continue to make the right moves. But yeah, I mean, certainly I'm not worried. I'm not worried about SGA, Lord knows. Like there are many things to be worried about potentially, like his mentality, his attitude is not one of them. He's going to be ready to rock. Balling for me this week is the owner now of who owned this Kobe Bryant jersey. Kobe's first ever number 24 jersey went up for sale at auction. It ended up going for $889,000. So this is literally the first game they tracked this down. This is, your yellow classic Lakers jersey. It's the first time he ever wore 24. It was in a victory over the Sonics. So a little bit of extra history there. You got a team that's doesn't exist anymore. On November 3rd in 2006, he scored 23 points. This was in the 06-07 season where he won the league scoring title that year. On the jersey, at the bottom in the 2, it was signed first 24. This was part of like a previous memorabilia deal that he had with Upper Deck. So everything is authenticated there. They actually also sold a Jerry West jersey at the same auction that went for $533,400 that he wore from 64 to 67. So pretty cool stuff there.
Just imagine having that much money to be able to drop that much on an item. You got me thinking about this. So have you watched King of Collectibles on Netflix?
I haven't. I know what it is, but
Ken
I've seen
Golden,
like a
yeah.
clip here or there, but I have not like sat down and
So
watched it.
So for anybody that follows the podcast knows I was just up in Jersey with Quinn, and in Ocean City, New Jersey, they have this little area that you can go and be in the it's like a little ride, amusement park kind of thing. And I was taking Quinn on the train. The train just goes around the little play area. It's like $3. You go around. She loves trains, so it was a good time. And I'm literally going on the train, right? And they're stopping the crowd so that we can go through. And as I'm going, I look over and I see this guy that I'm like, damn, this dude looks really familiar. And so we go past him, and I was like, who was that? Why do I know who that is? I was like, I think that's a famous person. Like, I've definitely seen that person on TV before. Who is it? It was Ken Golden, who is the main person who owns the company that they talk about in King of Collectibles.
Sick.
He's the one that's like, goes and talks to Mike Tyson and buys the boxing gloves to auction them off for money, all this stuff. And so that we go around, he's still there. Like, the train goes around twice. He's still in that spot, and I see him. And I looked over and I was like, Ken? And he looked at me and I was like, bro, your show's awesome, man. And he just looked at me. He was like, thanks. And that's just all it was. And I was like, this man is worth so much money. And he's just standing in the middle of this crowd and nobody knew who he was. I probably blew that up thinking about it now. Like, people probably were like, wait, who is this guy?
No, but I mean, even then, like, I mean, and that's kind of that's the ideal balance, right? Where you're famous enough to be successful, but you're not famous enough where I have to worry about getting swarmed or having security teams or like I can't go out anywhere in public anymore.
His net worth in 2021 was 200 million, and that is before the show kicked off. He's got to be worth a lot of money. But all that to be said, he was wearing a Phillies shirt, so confirmed
Sick.
Phillies fan. Yeah, we'll take that.
Phils. Red October, baby. We're here. All right. Fallin for me this week is, or actually, that was just my Ballin, so never mind. I'm being rude here and cutting you off. Who's your Fallin this week?
My Fallin's going to go out to Seth Curry, who last year was asked if he would ever want to play with Steph. And he said, would I ever want to team up with Steph? Because I know I've said that the past few times. I don't want to be on the same team. I want to carve my own path. Well, clearly that's not the case anymore. He is now playing with him. Seth Curry agreed to a 1-year deal with the Warriors. I think it's a really cool thing. I also wonder if there's some mind games at play because it's got the same last name. Like, will that confuse some defenses potentially? Like, you won't realize Steph's out there for a second and you get the wrong lineup out there or something because Curry is always on the court at all times. But good for them. Get the brothers together. I was surprised to learn that this is the first time they've actually been on a team together. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's why it's kind of funny because it's like, Seth, I feel like you have carved your own path, dude. Like, you've been in the league for 10 plus years now. Like, you and I talked about this a little bit before. It's like Seth Curry was a G League grinded up, like a lot of 10-day contracts type guy who really, he didn't just win off that Curry name. Like, he truly, morphed into a good quality NBA player on his own. Come on, you got to team up with your brother one last time, especially because like this is everybody's farewell tour on this Warriors team. Like, you might, if this is the time to do it, you might as well do it now.
It is what the people want. It's what we want. We want you guys on the team together. Like, come on, that's what we want. For
sure. By the way, I'm on Sotheby's Sports Auctions right now because I had to just like pull it up and see what kind of NBA stuff they got on here right now.
Crazy.
So game worn, Booker's All-Star game jersey is for sale from 2022. So that's for 20 grand. There's a Ja Morant game worn that's 15. Donovan Mitchell's opening night jersey with the Jazz from 2020 is 5,700. Dude, good one. Dirk. There's a Dirk Nowitzki game worn on here for 20 from like 07, 08. Which,
jeez, dude.
I believe that's the year he won MVP. I'm trying to see what's cute. Gobert is 3,500. If you want that.
I just can't believe they go for that much. Like, I get it. I do. I understand it. It's just wild money.
You can buy NBA mystery boxes. This is crazy for $2,000, and they don't tell you who's in it. There's like 100 of these.
It's just something. Like, is it going to be at least worth $2,000?
It's a game-worn NBA jersey from somebody. They don't tell you who it is. It's $2,000. They have 100 of them on here, and
I would want. What would I want? I would want a signed Elfrid Payton jersey from the best game she had. And then, okay, I want a Matthew Dellavedova jersey signed from the game that he injured Korver.
Oh, they got a list. Okay, that's crazy. That's insane. So they have a list of the 100 that are on here. So there's a couple bangers. Like you could get Embiid's on here, Giannis is in here, Steph is in here, Cade Cunningham is in here, Desmond Bane on the Grizzlies, Jamal Murray, Jason Tatum, our boy Kobe White, who we talked about earlier in the show. But then there's some random ones, man. That's the thing. It's like you're paying $2,000. So like, you know, our guy, G League success story, but like, are you paying $2,000 for the Ricky Council, the 4th Sixers jersey?
No, but I would pay a lot for November 25th worn Elfrid Payton jersey.
Justin, there is an Elfrid Payton New Orleans Pelicans 2024-2025 jersey that's in the mystery box.
Let's start a GoFundMe right now to get this jersey.
You're going to be the first person in history to get the mystery box and get like a Jason Tatum game-worn jersey and be like, no, it's not Elfrid.
I'm going to sell it back to get more so I can buy more boxes.
That is
By the way,
crazy.
For anybody wondering, the reason I want November 25th, 2024 Elfrid Payton jersey is the game he did 14 points, 21 assists, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals and shot 71% from the field. He went 7 for 11.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I was glad you guys got Payton and Grid. We'll jump to Grid in a sec.
We can, by the way, get him in Grid this time. I just pulled it up. So
cool. All right.
We will be doing it.
I mean, falling for me this week is Daniel Gafford. He sprained his ankle. He's going to miss 2 to 3 weeks. This happened during training camp on the opening practice. So it's kind of a bummer to the start of the season for Dallas. They said his availability for the opener is up in question. They're opening against the Spurs on October 22nd. Also kind of a bummer because Gafford missed the end of the season last year. He missed the last 2 months with a sprain in his MCL. But obviously, like he's a big player for them, rotation guy for them going forward. Hopefully this is just a minor ankle sprain and we're not talking about this for too long. But yeah, let's switch gears here a little bit. Let's get into Immaculate Grid. I know I'm itching to play. I was glad to see that you and Chase played last week.
We butchered it, dude. We butchered it.
I mean, listen, man, you guys got Elfrid Payton. The Sixers guy that you didn't get with Chicago, where I was screaming at it, where I was like, Tony Kukoc.
That's who it was. Yeah, I could not remember Kukoc's name for some reason. I knew he was there. I just didn't know. I couldn't grab it.
Yeah, he was on the AI team that went to the finals. But all right, a lot of stats this week. We should breeze through this. For the podcast listeners, you can always watch the show on YouTube. If you want to watch the Grid, just search Driving Dish NBA podcast. But again, for you guys who are listening, our left to right, our columns are the Miami Heat, 1 steal a game per season, and first round draft pick. Our rows from top to bottom, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Hall of Fame, and 10 points a game per season. So a lot. I mean, honestly, I think we're going as rare as possible for some of these. I think that's going to be the name of the game.
That's why
today.
Elfrid's going to come into this. Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking Elfrid. Are you thinking 10 a game per season, or are you thinking 10 and 1 per steal per game per season? I think either one will be extremely low.
Yes, I think either's going to be low. I think first round pick 10 points we can get even more creative with. I bet Elfrid's real low, under 1 steal and 10 points per game.
I agree. The only reason I think anyone would remotely pick Elfrid here is because he's a point guard and gets steals. But yeah, 0.004 or 0.04% to start. That's the beauty. Like I said, we're going for a new low rarity score on these. So
and hear me out here. Cavs Heat, Livingston. He played 4 games for the Heat.
How do you know that?
Because of this, because of Immaculate Grid.
Did Livingston play for the Cavs?
Yes, I'm pretty sure he did. Yep. Oh, I'm almost positive Sean Livingston works here.
So my obvious ones for this.
There's so many. Yeah, I mean,
the obvious ones. It's like LeBron, Shaq, Kevin Love, Dwayne Wade,
Mike Miller, Birdman,
Sean Marion.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Livingston played for both, and it would be really low.
Yeah, okay. All right. I believe you. You said you said a lot of confidence. I believe you. I'm not going to shoot you down on that. And he will definitely be low.
Oh, yeah. Look at
0.004. Again, good Lord. Man, I learned something today. I had no idea he played for either of those teams.
He played a decent amount. I think he played like 50 to 60 some games for the Cavs and like 4 games for the Heat. I remember that only because only because I had a grid like this before, and I used him as a guess, and I was surprised that it was so low, so I looked it up.
Yeah, that was crazy. So, right, like 4 games for the Heat in 08, 09. So that was after the injury, right? Because, like, obviously the original Livingston story was the devastating knee injury when he played for the Clippers. So he played for the Heat and he played for the Thunder 4 and 8 games, respectively, in 08, 09. And then, he played for the Cavs for 49 games in 2012, 2013. He played for Washington that season, too. He played 17 games to start.
So,
because he played. I mean, it was that season with Cleveland. The next year he played for Brooklyn, and then he got to Golden State, and then obviously that's where he, where his large amount of fame comes from.
Do you think Delly had a steal per game?
Probably. If he was,
might be an interesting one.
Like he got starting. What am I trying? He got starting minutes, so that's kind of my thing. Is it's like he's. I mean, any guard. I'm going to
is probably gonna have at least one, but
I would
don't know.
hope. But like the only worry I have with him is that he was a bench guy. I do think it's hard as a bench guy to average. Well, like Elfrid starts, so that's where I wasn't really worried about it.
And we could always go a J.R. Smith, Amon Shumpert type level.
Now that I think about it too, just because I'm realizing with Delly in 1 steal a game per season. He was extra with the Cavs. He was getting bench minutes. Like, I know he came back late, but like he wasn't really starting until he went to Milwaukee or getting more serious minutes, I think. So
okay.
I mean, we could do JR. You would think JR has a steal a game.
Who else was over there at that time? I mean, obviously Kyrie would work, but that's gonna be high.
Kyrie's gonna be high. I mean, dude, I think JR would be low. I mean, I'm trying to think if Iman play. I mean, I think either one, and because I think they'll both be low, but I think I'm more bullish on those two than I am on Delly.
You want to go Shump?
Yeah, I'm cool with Shump.
Amon Shumpert, man. I don't think I've used him on the grid.
1%. Wow, I didn't even think he'd get to a full 1. That's crazy.
I met him. I met him in Tampa. Okay, so now hear me out.
When did you meet Amon Shumpert in Tampa?
At an Omarion concert.
Sick. Hell yeah. All right. Wait, that's awesome.
His girlfriend was the opener. So
Tiana Taylor. No,
yeah.
He was married. I mean, they're not together anymore, unfortunately. No, they were married together. He was married to Tiana Taylor. She's good. She's some R&B songs.
She was the opener. I think Omarion was next. Fetty Wap was after that. And then Kid Ink. And then Chris Brown. That was the 5 that performed that night.
That's a wild lineup, low-key,
it was
honestly.
A crazy part. It was so fun.
Kind of lit.
Me and Jeremy Gold went, and we didn't get back to Jacksonville until 3 a.m, and I had to work at 4, and my boss got so mad at me. He's like, "You smell like whiskey. Why are you here?" I was like...
Because I'm out networking, boss. Come on.
I was like, bro. Well, honestly, half of it was Chris Brown's fault because the meet and greet was supposed to be after the show at midnight, and he didn't see us till like 2:30 in the morning. And I was like, we gotta go, dude. Like, I'm not waiting any longer. So
that's why I was from Tampa too. That's not even close.
I know, dude. That was a tough drive. That was a dangerous. That was a dangerous drive back, dude. That was a tired drive back.
Yeah, for sure.
But either way, all that to say, first round pick Cavs. What do you think about D Wade being low?
So I just want to make sure there's not a technicality, and they don't have to be picked by the team. Can you click that to just make sure or play? Okay, all right, then I'm fine doing Wade there because obviously
you think Wade will be low.
I think he's Dwayne Wade, so I think there's going to be a level of like how low is he? But I think I mean I think people are going to name the Cavs first round picks first, and I think with the wrinkle there of being okay, never mind. Just kidding.
Holy moly!
I guess when it is players that were picked in the first round, like you really do have a lot of options, and certainly Dwayne Wade isn't somebody that we associate with Cavs first, but it's still like Dwayne Wade, man. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best shooting guards ever. So, all right. Hall of Fame for any of these are pretty quick. I mean, for the Heat, it's Shaq, it's Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah.
It's
Wade's been in, right?
Yeah, Wade's in.
We can't use him, but we can't. But yeah, so okay.
Man, I'm trying to think of like older guys that are Hall of Fame. No, were you just gonna say Gary Payton too? Because I was about to say Gary
No,
Payton.
I was saying I'm trying to think of their the 3-point Jason Terry. No, was it Terry that was on the team?
I don't think Jace Terry's. I mean, Jace Terry's on the Hall of Fame though.
No, yeah, okay, that's what I was wondering. I was trying to think if he made it in or not.
I like my initial inclination there is Gary Payton. I like Gary Payton because he was on the '06 team that won. That's where he got a ring at.
Okay. Gary Payton.
And I don't think people obviously Sonics for 7. Never mind. All right, never mind. Yeah. Yeah, I would wonder. I want to pull this up actually to see how many Heat Hall of Famers there are.
Do we think Norris?
Oh man, dude, Chris Bosh. We need to say Chris Bosh, Ray Allen.
Oh, that's messed up on us. I mean, so we could go. Well, hold on. We could go Chris Bosh, first round pick, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but now I'm cheating. I just said that. Now. I feel like I'm cheating.
That's fair. Okay.
Only because we have like 9 zillion options over there too.
Yeah. Okay.
The Miami Heat players that have been inducted in the Hall of Fame are Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway, Shaq, Ray Allen. We mentioned Ray, Gary Payton, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. So
Ray might have been who I was thinking of. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you only have a certain amount there. All right, Hall of Fame first round draft pick. We can knock that out real quick. I mean, I want to just pull up a boomer somewhere. So I'm kind of like spinning the dice on my head in which one to go with.
What if we go? Oh, okay. I was gonna say we could go Carmelo.
Melo just got in. I'm fine going Melo.
Or do you think Melo Hall of Fame 1 steal?
Hall of Fame 1 steal. Wow. I kind of like that, honestly. He had to have had a steal a game, right?
I mean, you would think, but
no, come on. Carmelo Anthony had to have a steal a game. If Iman Shumpert's got to steal a game, Carmelo Anthony has to steal a game. There's no way.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
0.1. Let's 0.1%. Go.
No, yeah, I like that there. I mean, if we want to make it the theme about recent guys in the Hall of Fame, we could always do Dwight as well with first round draft.
We could do that. We could also go Allen Iverson. I mean. Yeah, I mean, go AI.
I'm always fine going AI. Let's go AI. I can be a homer and go AI here.
The only good thing we got for us right now is Sixers 2%.
You were gonna say it's only good AI. I was like about to be like, wow, look at you. All right,
taking it out. Yeah. Okay. No,
hit me. I'm ready.
Norris Cole. Do you think he has 10 a game?
Oh my god! Maybe
potentially. Who else was the other point guard
starter?
Yeah.
I mean,
Norris Cole.
They had Carlos Arroyo that one year.
No, that's not who I'm thinking of. Although also what's his name probably has it. From the Suns, Tim's guy. Bender?
No way. I was going to say no
Dragic. That's what I'm thinking of.
Dragic actually probably does. He would work there.
Yeah, Dragic probably works there. No, who was the other point guard that was with Norris Cole?
Oh, Mario. You talking about Mario Chalmers?
Chalmers had to have had 10.
I think Chalmers had to have had 10 as well, and I'm inclined to go with Mario.
You want to go Mario?
I think so. He had to have had 10 with Miami, right?
Oh, yep. Okay, 2%.
Right. Yeah, 2%.
I went for it. So, yeah, I mean, come on. He was like I think he was a starter.
Yeah, well, no, the problem is just you're starting with Wayne and Bosh and LeBron.
Right. So first round, 10 points per game. I mean, should we go Okafor because that's kind of funny?
God, that's so gross. I will, but God, I hate it. Wait, which one? Do you want to go Mecca or do you want to go Jaleel?
I want to go Jaleel.
Okay. All right.
Because I know he had like 16 points per game.
100% had it. Like no doubt in my mind.
0.1%, dude.
Sick.
We did 13 rarity scores.
Beautiful. Love that. By the way, you want to hear how close this was to disaster? Dude, Mario Chalmers only averaged 10 a game twice in his career in Miami. It was 10 on the dot in 2008 and 2009. In 2014, he averaged 10.2.
If you told me he averaged 15 points a game, I'd believe you. Like, I very much would have believed you.
I would start to doubt, but you could sell me into it.
Oh, the grid's moving.
Oh. Okay, I mean, I haven't really saved all my data.
I don't save it either, but that's a bummer. To I wonder where it's going.
Yeah, hopefully nowhere that's going to cost money. That would be unfortunate.
That's fair. 1,020 answers for 10 points per game and 1 steal.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, my
1065 for
word.
that for 10 a game and first
Stockton.
round
Okay.
draft pick. All right, most popular answers for each category: LeBron James for
Anthony
Cavs and Heat, Kyrie Irving for Cavs, 1 steal a game per season, Anthony Bennett, Cavs
Yo,
first round draft pick. That's so disrespectful, but he was number one. Like, I get it. It's the
that's
most
so
surprising
messed
pick
up.
ever. That's
Oh, that's
crazy.
so funny.
Heat number one Hall of Fame, Alonzo Mourning. Genuinely surprised by that. I thought it'd be Shaq for sure, but shout out
Yeah,
to
Shaq or
Zoe.
Wade, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Actually, Wade, I guess was so recent, but you're 100% right. Hall of Fame, 1 steal a game per season, John Stockton. Hall of Fame, first round draft pick, Michael Jordan. Dwayne Wade, Heat, 10 a game per season. Michael Jordan, 1 steal a game per season, 10 points a game per season. Larry Bird, first round draft pick, 10 points a game per season. To recap our grid one last time,
Jeez.
Sean Livingston for Cavs and Justin. That's a great pull, dude. Or for Cavs and Heat, I should say. I'm saying Cavs and Justin, but Justin, that is a great pull, is what I'm trying to say. That was one of your better ones, in my opinion. Iman Shumpert, Cavs for 1 steal per game per season. Dwayne Wade, Cavs first round draft pick. Gary Payton for the Heat and Hall of Fame. Carmelo Anthony, Hall of Fame, 1 steal a game per season. Allen Iverson, Hall of Fame, first round draft pick. Mario Chalmers, Heat, 10 a game per season. Elfrid Payton, 10 points a game per season and 1 steal per game per season. And Jahlil Okafor for a first round draft pick with 10 points a game per season.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Appreciate you guys. It is good to be back with Justin Cousart. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. I'll read them on the podcast. Anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us. And like I said, started the show with the season about to tip off. You can expect a little more regularity. Thank you for having patience with us over the summer. We are back fully. Do not be alarmed. We're still on your feeds.
And still on YouTube. Find us, Drive and Dish NBA. You can subscribe there. Get notifications like you do for the podcast when new episodes are coming out.